Scribblers, Wendy here with a tag video. This is the author struggle tag, originally done by Amber Craft. I'll leave her video down below. I was tagged in this video as Flippin' Bookie. That's my Discord name, that's my gamer tag, Flippin' Bookie, in case y'all were curious where that came from. So yeah, it's got 10 questions, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. The first question is, as an author, writer, what aspect of the process do you find the hardest to tackle? First part of the writing, the hardest part of the writing process for me would have to be the editing part. I struggle with it only because I have a habit of, I'm not an extremely organized person. I don't know if you can tell. Not a very extremely organized person, so when I'm having to write down the notes and everything else, I always wind up using different system from the previous time that I edited anything, even the current work, and it always winds up being this jumbled, messed up notes, and somehow I managed to get through it, but it takes me a while. It takes me a couple of tries before I'm actually like, okay, yes, I got this. This can go here, and this can go there, and this fixes that, and my editing process is all over the place, and I really need to get it down packed and get it going, you know, find an actual process that works. Not that my process doesn't work, it just takes longer, and that's part of the reason why it takes me so long to actually finish a book. Second question, what do you find makes you go down the rabbit hole the fastest when you should be writing? YouTube is a popular answer in this. I realize that I like to watch like paranormal files and conspiracy theories on YouTube, and I will also catch myself catching up on television shows that I've been neglecting for the longest time. I am a total fangirl. I love so many fandoms, and my most recent rabbit hole was Good Omens with Michael Sheen and David Tennant, and oh, not Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen, I was right. So, Good Omens with Michael Sheen and David Tennant. I love David Tennant in Doctor Who, and I have watched everything he's been in ever since. So, if you haven't watched that show, you need to go watch that show. It's a really good show. Anyways, moving on. So yeah, television shows, fandoms, and YouTube paranormal videos. Moving on. Number 3. What is the hardest thing that you have discovered about the process of indie publishing? I am not published as of yet. Keyword is yet. That is the key word, and I'm not going the self-published indie route. I am looking to traditionally publish, so I don't know how to answer this as a indie published person would, but I can tell you in publishing in general, the hardest part is getting your work out there, getting it in front of people, getting people to even read it. Like, I have sent out queries for my manuscript Stop the Raven, and the replies I get is the premise that it sounds interesting, but they don't know how to sell it. Fair enough. Okay. Or they're just not passionate about it or something like that. So it's different responses, but most of them are really nice and whatever. But yeah, the hardest part would be getting your work actually out there, and I think even in indie publishing, people are saying that the hardest part is getting the book into people's hands, like getting them to buy it and read it and all that stuff. So that's the hardest part for me, and publishing in general. Sorry I couldn't answer that as an actual indie publisher, but you know, still. Number 4. Number 4. When you are frustrated with your work, what do you find yourself doing the most? When I'm frustrated with my work, as in I don't want to edit it, because I very rarely get frustrated when I'm first drafting the story. It's when I'm editing it that I'm like, I can't look at you anymore, you're such a mess. Pull yourself together. But when I get frustrated with my work, I will jump to another story. I will start a completely new one and focus on that one until that one's finished. Or I will completely ignore writing altogether and go off and start watching a new television show that I shouldn't have gotten myself into, because like I need another TV series to watch and keep up with. So yeah, those are the two things that I do when I'm frustrated. Number 5, what is one thing you wish you were better at and why? I wish I was better at line editing and grammar in general. I know I suck at it. I know I'm getting better at it because I'm starting to catch little things in other books, but I know I still suck at it, and it's one thing that I do wish I was better at. I know there's books and there's classes that you could take, and I've read the books and I've watched online videos on how to better yourself with the line editing and stuff, but it's still something that gives me a lot of trouble, and hopefully one day I can, and all I can really do is work on it and try to make myself better with it. Number 6, what is one thing you find the hardest to do in your genre? I write speculative fiction, and going through speculative fiction you will find that everything's been done, and that can be said for just about any genre that you write. And I know that with everybody says that with every story everything's been done before, and it's just how you pull your twist on it. But there's only so many ways you can write about spirits and ghosts and werewolves and I mean, I guess you could become sparkly. I don't know. Oh wait, that's been done. My bad. Anyways, so yeah, speculative fiction is finding the hardest part is finding new ways to tell old stories, or new ways to create old myths and legends, and you really gotta work it in there somehow. So that's the hardest part for me. Number 7. What is the hardest part of telling others about your books? Telling others about my books, that is the hardest part. I am not one to put myself out there and be like, hey, I wrote a book. Hey, I did this. Hey, I did that. I'm very much a recluse, and I very much just kind of like to hide away in my own little shell. So like recently I had a small piece accepted for publication in the Black Hair Press Dark Travels anthology, and I posted something on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, and my family, like, and I didn't expect a response to it. I really didn't expect a response to it, because I don't know, I just didn't. And I even had and my family and my friends were like, what the hell, when did you start writing? When did you wrote something, you wrote a book, what? And I was shocked. I was like, really? Oh wait, yeah, I didn't tell anybody I was doing that. I told a few people. Like, I have friends at work, and I have my husband, of course, but I haven't really told people that I'm writing again, that I'm actually looking to publish stuff and put it out there. And so just telling people is the hardest part. Number 8. What is the most frustrating thing you hear when you tell people about your book or series? I would have to say the most frustrating thing would be when they ask if I'm going to give them the book when it comes out, if it ever comes out, or if I would let them read the unpublished manuscript. Sorry, no, I'm not giving you a free copy, and no, you're not going to be allowed to read the unpublished manuscript. Maybe that's being a bit harsh. But we're not talking like family or anything like that. We're talking like people at work. They're like, oh, can I read it? Yeah, when it's published. Not before then, sorry. Number 9. What is the best and worst thing someone has said about your book or series? The best thing I've heard about my series, and this is like a general collective of people, is that it sounds interesting. Like, people are generally interested by the story itself and the characters, and I mean, it's about reapers. It's about a girl who refuses to reap, who is a reaper, who's trying to get away from the reaping life and live a normal life. People are interested about that. So when I tell them that, they're like, oh, that sounds really interesting, that sounds really good, which gives me hope. The worst thing I have heard was during the beta reading process of Stop the Raven, and that was that my main character was very passive. Like, these things were just happening to her, and she was just reacting, and that got me a little downtrodden at first, because I was like, crap. I thought I had made a really good character, and of course I had to go in and edit it and fix that and make her more reactive, more proactive to what was going on around her. But luckily it was early on in the beta reading process, and I was able to fix it, so it wasn't like a totally horrible thing. But so far that has been the worst thing that somebody has said about my book or series. And question number 10, what struggle do you hope to overcome throughout your journey in this community or as a writer? I guess this one struggle I hope to overcome in this community or as a writer is maybe putting myself out there more, being more open. I guess I'm kind of doing that in this video, but I have a tendency to want to make friends with people and then pulling back because I don't want to get close to people. And so I guess I'm in this community, and as a writer I know you need those connections, so my struggle is making better connections, being more part of the community and all of that. So yeah, that is my number 10 struggle. And Amber wanted us to add to the questions. The question I wanted to add to this video at the end is there any part of the publishing or writing process that you would change from your first book or series? As I've said before, I'm not published yet, but I am querying, and one of the things that I would change is the way I started out querying. When I first started querying, I had my query letter, obviously, and it was like the first, maybe second draft. It wasn't all that great, and I said, screw it, I have it, let me go ahead and send it out to a handful of agents and see what happens. And this was mostly so that I could get over that fear of sending out that first query. But my query letter wasn't polished. It wasn't perfect, and I was still researching and learning how to actually query agents. So I didn't know the whatnots and the what's to do, but I still sent the queries out, and I kind of wish I hadn't done that. Like, I wish I had held off and actually polished my query and made sure my synopsis was perfect, and as perfect as it's ever going to be, because it's a synopsis and synopsises suck. And wish I had known a little bit more about the do's and don'ts before I actually sent them off. I mean, I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't just do anything absolutely crazy that would get me blacklisted, but there was little things that I know now that agents look at, and I'm just like, ugh, I cannot believe I did that. But anywho, that is my added on question. If you want to do this video, go right on ahead, add your questions. And so that is it. That is the author struggle tag. Like I said, I will leave the original for you down below to watch Amber's. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have anything to add, comment below. If you like the content in general, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye.